So the first programming environment that I want to install, or that what I want to walk you through the installation of, is Pluto. In order to install packages in Julia, we use Julia's built-in package manager, which is called PKG. And it is the equivalent to pip in Python, or installing a toolbox in MATLAB, or Conda if you're using the Anaconda Python distribution. So in order to install packages, we can stay in the main REPL and say using PKG, capital P, lowercase kg. Julia is case sensitive, so you need to get the upper and lowercase right, which will load the package manager. And then with package pkg.add, I can then, for example, install Pluto. There's another way to get into the package manager, and that is using the closing square bracket. If I type the closing square bracket, I get into the package manager. And in the package manager, I can use more simple commands to install packages. I can use, for example, the add Pluto command here. So if I confirm that, it's going to first install the repositories, i.e. the package list. Julia has about 5,000 supported packages at the moment. So it will install that. And if you're doing this on a Windows system and you have Windows Defender running, then I have experienced that this will now kick in. Maybe it won't this time because I have done this before. But on the first installation, I experienced that Windows Defender took a few minutes to, yeah, now it's coming in. MSMP eng exit is Windows Defender scanning the whole thing. So this will take a few minutes for this antivirus program to go through all the data we just downloaded and installed. But after that, it should all work smoothly. So it took about 1.5 or 2 minutes for Microsoft Defender or Windows Defender to give us the all clear on that installation. Now Julia downloaded about 20 packages in total. The package manager, if you install one package, will automatically install all the packages that that one package depends on. So you don't need to resolve that by hand, similar to what Python would do with pip or Conda. And one particular aspect of Julia, which is the reason why it is so much faster than Python or MATLAB, is that it is just-in-time compiled. So the first time you install a package, the first time you define a function, the first time you plot something, it will need to compile it. So it usually takes a little bit longer then. So we now have 20 packages installed and pre-compiled. So now we can start Pluto by saying using Pluto. Oh, sorry, I need to leave the package manager first before I can use Julia commands. To leave the package manager, I type backspace, and then I can type using Pluto. Will initialize Pluto, and then I run Pluto by using the pluto.run command. Run is a function, so it needs the open and closing brackets. And that will now open Pluto in our default browser after it has run through the first compilation of some other features. And it will take a while the first time round, and every time you restart Pluto up, it may take a while to recompile things if they have gone out of date. And then we can open the sample notebook to just see how Pluto works. So let me open this one because it shows some interesting aspects of Pluto. But with these simple steps, you can get started working in Pluto. Now needs to analyze the notebook and start it up. So after you've installed Pluto, in order to get Pluto running, let's repeat the commands. You go into the Julia REPL, so open Julia up and say using Pluto, and then pluto.run, opening, closing parentheses. So the Pluto interface is pretty clean. One of the most useful features is this one. So I usually always unfold the live docs here. Because if I go over some item, it will give us live documentation about that feature. What Pluto is already running the notebook. What it is doing here, it is installing another package, and that took a while. So it has, you can see how that all works. So it now has installed 5 additional package, 6 packages in order to get that Pluto UI running. So that's what it did in the background, because the first thing here is using Pluto UI. So you tell it that we want to use the Pluto user interface package, and that is now recompiling, and it takes a while for the first time to start up. So this is one of the more annoying features of Pluto, of Julia. The first time you do something new, you need to wait quite a while for it to happen. So this is how you can start a Pluto notebook. When you click here, you get back to the Pluto main page. Go back to the sample notebook, do some mathematics, which will now start a new another notebook. And Pluto has notebook cells, which you can use as any other notebook system, or in MATLAB you type or you can type these commands into the REPL as well. So then we need to wait a while for this to be analyzed and initialized. And then you see the times running at the lower right-hand corner of these cells. So let me just show you one of the more interesting features. So C is supposed to be the sum of the product of A and B. So we have A equals 2, B equals 6. If I change this to A equals 4 and hit Shift Enter, then it executes that cell again and it updates what's the output. So the output of the cell in this notebook is on top. So if you're used to Jupyter, that is a big difference. But the biggest difference is actually when I change this to be A times B and then execute it, then it will execute that. And it will give me the result 4 times 6. But in contrast to other notebook systems, if I change the value of A Then, as you see, it will also update all the cells that depend on that. If I change the value of B to 5, for example, then it will not only change the output of this cell, but Pluto knows that this cell depends on A and B. So whenever I change the values in one of these cells, it will change the value in this cell as well. So, and it does that even for more complicated dependencies. So it is interactive. So whenever you change a value here, it will now change the values in all the dependencies. If I have more people, then I expect at some point I need more pizzas. But I don't know what the equation is. Ah, no, I need to change this, of course. So number of people, average number of slices each person eats, number of slices. So how many pizzas do I need? That is people times average divided by slices. Mistake. Yeah. So if I've changed the number of people now, it should actually update that. Yeah, it does. It hasn't updated the slices because I didn't confirm that cell during the answers. So if you change a cell, you can confirm it with Shift Enter, or you can type Control Enter and it will confirm it and give you a new cell underneath, and so on. But I don't want to go too much into the details of how to run Pluto UI. So I leave it at that. So play around with Pluto and the sample notebooks, and we'll be back with installation instructions for VS Code.